Today we're going back to the golden age of my childhood to tear down the Sega Genesis Mini. Let's get started. Finally getting a hold of one of these Sega Genesis Minis really took me back. I was very young when my older brothers got their Sega Genesis. I remember sitting on the floor watching them play a lot of these classics. It was a much simpler time back then. For example, in this game Alex Kidd, you would run around and beat the bad guys by playing paper, rock, scissors. It was really weird. Shining Force and Landstalker were the first RPGs I ever played, and I thought their storylines were like works of Shakespeare. Road Rash is awesome, and so is Wonder Boy and the Mickey game. So it's great to see that they're all included in this one bundle. So enough nostalgia, let's open it up and see what's inside. First off are some random instructions that we won't read. It also includes an HDMI cable, and it looks like 2 wired controllers, and a power supply. This looks like the same type of USB charger you'd find with an iPhone or an Android device. The charging cable that comes with it is a standard micro USB cable, so should be easy to replace if ever lost. Inside these white pouches are the 2 wired controllers. The weight and the button press feel like almost exact replicas of the originals. The question remains open if the wires still have that grainy feel when you chew on them, like I remember when I was a kid. I'll leave that question open for now, but comment below if you have any insights. Both controllers are identical front and back, and it's really impressive to see how close they are to the originals. Next up in this small box is the console itself. It's actually kind of weird seeing this replica as it's so close to the original. It's very lightweight, and the vents on the side are just for show. The bottom vents do look like they actually are used, but this weird side switch is just for show. I spent many days wondering what this thing was used for as a kid, so if you have any insight to the mystery, let me know. The top has the same high def logo, but the back has been updated to include HDMI out and the micro USB charging port. Turning it over to the front buttons, there's an on-off switch. They also included the headphone volume meter, which I used like once growing up. And just like the iPhone, the headphone jack has been removed. There's 2 USB ports in the front. I'll test out other USB controllers later in the video. I tested it and the reset button does click. I was curious to see what was in the cartridge port, and looking more closely, it looks like nothing. We'll find out more when we open it up, which actually is right now. I'm going to be using my favorite toolkit from Bonafide Hardware. I've used this for nearly all my teardown videos, and it really is the best kit I've found. So to open this up, it looks like there's 6 screws around the outside edge. I was able to use a Phillips screwdriver to get them all removed. Once the screws were removed, it came apart very easily. Now at first glance, it reminded me of a Raspberry Pi. It's a very simply designed motherboard with USB outputs and a heatsink. In a moment, I'll tear it down further, but first I want to check out the cartridge bay. There are 2 screws holding it down, and just like we suspected, there's nothing inside except a few springs for the hinges. Putting it back, let's take a closer look at the motherboard. As mentioned, the motherboard is very clean, but to get a better view, I'll need to remove these 4 screws. There's a final screw in the top left corner, which when removed allows me to pull out the motherboard. There's no cooling fans or storage capacity upgrades, which is understandable. The only way to cool the Sega Genesis Mini is through these plastic vents and through the metal heatsink on top of the motherboard. The heatsink is this metal piece here, which I'll remove to get a better look underneath. There was resistance pulling it apart as there was some heatsink material over the CPU. In the bottom left corner, I noticed someone misspelled the name of the multi-platinum Irish band, but I did find the power switch and the reset button, so it appears that those are actual buttons that can be used and are not just for show. We learned that the motherboard is very simply designed, but gets the job done. Remember, there's 4 screws that hold down the motherboard, and 2 that hold down the cartridge tray. With those put back together, I'll need to make sure I line up the switch on the motherboard with the power switch on the top. Take note if it's on the left or right side, and line up the switch accordingly. Once it's set, close it firmly, and put in the remaining 6 screws. Alright, it's put back together, so let's take a quick look at the controllers. To tear it down, I'll need to take out the 6 screws on the back. These appear to be the same size as the main console. With those out, I can now remove the back plate and get to the internals of the controller. The controller board comes right out, And you can see where the buttons are located, there's a plastic material to help cushion and protect them. Speaking of, you may need the protection of hiding under a pillow after reading the heartwarming adventures of Daro and his friends. You can get it through the Audible link below. I'm not sponsored, but I like to share out good books and things to listen to when I do my projects. Go get this, Mistborn and Stormlight, and you have a good summer ahead of you. Alright, back to the controller. Put on the motherboard, the back plate, and screw it down. Alright, everything feels great, so let's plug it in and test out this Sega Genesis Mini. So it's incredibly easy to hook up, plug in the power and the HDMI cord, then flip the switch to turn it on. From there you will be brought to a language selection screen, and using the D-pad you can choose which game you want to play. When you finally select a game you want to play, you are brought to this game start screen, and from here the game boots right up. Once you're done getting beat up by Chun-Li, press start and you're taken to the system menu. From here you can save or load a game, reset, or go back to the main menu. As mentioned, it's awesome to see all the games that they included, but there were a couple great ones missing. It'd be great to have Tecmo Super Bowl where I could be Barry Sanders and score at will, or Reggie White and dive across the field. Shining in the Darkness was a great RPG, Mutant League Football was fun, and I remember always bribing the referees. It's too bad they couldn't strike a deal and get more Disney games such as Aladdin and Lion King. Comment below if there are any other good ones that I might have missed. Now the final test will be if other USB controllers work. I believe there are wireless Sega ones that you can get, but I'm gonna try out this Xbox controller. And that's a no-go. It doesn't register any input from the controller, so you likely need something made specifically for the Genesis. Alright, we're done here. In conclusion, the Genesis Mini is a fantastic console and I highly recommend it. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.